so-called bad behavior, they killed it. One early September day, a male black bear was dozing in the tall oak trees near Boulder's Columbia Cemetery. It wasn't the first time. A green ear tag drew attention to the bear's previous urban rendezvous. At 3 p.m., nearby Flatirons Elementary School went into lockdown. No student was allowed to leave the building with the bear hanging around. Wildlife officials were called. After 3 hours of waiting to see if the bear would return to the mountains of his own volition, officers shot and killed the animal. Parents of the pupils at Flatirons weren't happy. Their children were heartbroken to learn of the slumbering animal's fate. 3 days later, another especially large black bear, 590 pounds, was killed outside the elementary school. He, too, was known to wildlife wardens. A necropsy revealed that the fat bear's stomach was filled with 2 steaks, still in their wrappers, pasta, potatoes, eggs, avocado, paper towels, apples, lunch meat, and carrots, all scavenged from nearby dumpsters. Outraged citizens flooded the city council meetings. It was clear the dead bear had been drawn into town by the endless availability of human food. They pushed council members to pass an ordinance that would require Boulder residents to lock up their trash in bear-resistant garbage bins, specially designed containers with complex configurations to keep bears out. Though trash ordinances already existed in small mountain towns like Banff and those near Lake Tahoe, it was the first time a large city would pass such a law in the United States. That Boulder, a city with more than 100,000 residents, should need to implement this strategy to deal with black bears signaled a profound shift in the American West. As urban areas expanded, hungry black bears were no longer going to abide by arbitrary human boundaries. So began my Ursine Odyssey. Halfway into my master's program, I zeroed in on reporting on bear-human conflict around the Rocky Mountains. On crisp autumn weekends, I tagged along with Boulder's Community Fruit Rescue Initiative, as dozens of volunteers armed with clawed fruit pickers and wicker baskets traveled among North Boulder's backyards, stripping apple trees bare at the behest of homeowners. Their mission was to remove any food source that might entice a bear to abandon its woodland home and end up on the wrong side of a rifle. I also started hanging around with the Boulder Bear Sitters, a hodgepodge group of local citizens tasked with watching over bears sleeping in town, ensuring the Bruins could safely make it back into the mountains at night. Boulder wasn't the only place confronting an ursine insurgency. Across the American West, black bears were moving into towns and cities, and grizzlies were expanding their range. In Aspen, Colorado, I accompanied enforcement officers patrolling the town for free-flowing garbage. Aspen was nearly overrun with meddlesome bears. "Bears are all I do," one officer told me, as he inspected a tipped-over garbage bin that had been secured with a piece of string. Bears in trash, bears in garages, bears in cars, bears in houses. An off-duty cop had even been attacked while walking through a trash-infused alley one recent summer night. Aspen led to Banff, Alberta, where the Providence's grizzly population was recovering following the end of a trophy hunt 8 years prior and moving east into the foothills. And I followed the spine of the Rockies down to Yellowstone, where I met with ranchers worried about their own booming grizzly population. The population in the greater Yellowstone ecosystem had more than doubled since the bears were first protected under the Endangered Species Act in 1975. Now the bears were wandering out of the national park and getting into cattle and sheep herds. Conflicts were surging in the wake of such ursine expansion. As I had discovered in Boulder, people weren't exactly sure how to coexist with bears living next door. In New Jersey, where the black bear population had grown by a factor of 30 in just 5 decades, in 2014, a black bear chased and killed a hiker, the first documented fatality in the state's history. In Sierra Madre, California, near Angeles National Forest, a young woman was attacked by a black bear while napping in a backyard hammock. She escaped.